how do I, the family member, get off the eggshells when interacting with someone um, who is struggling with an addiction? Because families feel like they are constantly walking on eggshells.
Yeah, I think it comes right back to what I was saying at the beginning, which is, you know, observe the behaviors or their actions or what they're saying, and then use that to say how that affects you. So rather than, you know, hey Tony, you're smoking crack and you're doing all these dumb things and you're like stealing and um you don't want to get sober and you love causing people pain in your life. Like those are a lot of assumptions that I'm making. I'm assuming that you don't want to get sober. I'm assuming that you enjoy hurting your friends and family. I'm, you know, kind of questioning your character rather than just saying, "Hey, Tony, you know, when you stole from me, it kind of made me feel like you didn't really appreciate me as your friend, or, this is what that did to me, rather than coming at it from a hostile point. Because how are you going to respond to me if I'm already name calling and associating blame with what you're doing? You're going to come back at me and say like how bad of a friend or parent I am, and I just don't understand, and you know I made you this, like whatever the story is, you're going to start blaming me right back. So if I can just keep it about myself and not assume anything about you, your thoughts, your motivations, I think that goes a long way, because that's not something that can necessarily be argued. Like, you did steal from me. That's a fact, right? Now what do we do about that? And like, that's what we need to talk about.
So, Tony, before you answer, I have to put this out there. That is so hard to do because it's usually not an isolated incident. It's usually you've been stealing from me, you've been stealing from me, you've been lying to me, um, you've been, breaking promises, and just wreaking havoc. And I'm pissed. And now you're saying, well, come at me with a softer approach. Um, so I guess my follow-up question, Matt, is, when I don't come at you with a softer approach, when I come at you with that, I'm pissed off, like I've had it. How is that not helpful?
Well, it's actually funny, and I'll say for me and my personal experiences,
Uh-huh.
I grew up around so much arguing, and I
Mm.
can already picture my mom like saying like, "No, I didn't do that," while she's watching this. But um, you know, the volume was almost always at a 7 or 8, I felt like. Um, and when it starts there, there's not that much room for it to go. So whether I'm getting yelled at for taking out the trash or getting suspended from school, I'm still getting yelled at. So like the difference there is so minimal that I don't really care that much. Like I'm used to this. So like if you kind of scale it back, you're lowering like the threshold for, okay, this is how we handle this situation. And also, if I'm expecting you to yell at me for something that I did, and you come at me with a softer approach of, hey, this, I don't like this, like whatever, then I'm kind of almost thrown for a loop. I'm like, wait a second, I wasn't expecting that. I thought you were gonna yell, kick, and scream at me, but instead, like, I'm actually realizing like how this has affected you, rather than I'm just in trouble for something.